Have you ever met someone and you just knew they weren't being honest, even if their words were perfect? Maybe they smiled at you, but something felt wrong. Maybe they promised you something, but deep down, you knew they wouldn't keep that promise. We've all been there. That moment when something inside you says, "This doesn't feel right." That's your gut feeling, and most of us ignore it. We live in a world where people say one thing but feel another. A world where smiles can be fake and where promises can be broken. Where someone can look you in the eye and say exactly what you want to hear, while they are planning something completely different. And if you don't learn to read people, you will be lied to. You will be hurt by those you trusted, not because you're weak, but because you never learned to see what was hiding behind the words. How many times have you been shocked when someone showed their true face? How many relationships or job situations have gone wrong because you ignored the signs? The signs were always there, you just didn't know how to read them. Understanding people isn't about becoming a mind reader. It's not about controlling them or playing games. It's about protecting yourself. It's about seeing the truth behind the words so you can make better decisions in your life. Welcome to Fluent English with Radio, where we don't just learn English. We learn how to live life with wisdom, strength, and clear eyes. In this video, we're going to talk about how to read people like a book. We'll talk about why this skill is so important. We'll show you how to watch body language, listen to voice tone, and feel their energy. We'll also explain what makes people act the way they do. And most importantly, we'll discuss how to use your wisdom wisely to connect, to protect, and to build a life surrounded by people who truly deserve your trust. So if you're ready to stop being fooled and start seeing clearly, let's begin. Before we dive into how to read people, let's talk about why. Why should you spend your time and energy learning this skill? Why does this even matter? We live in a world full of mixed signals, where trust can be a weakness if you give it to the wrong person. It's a world where the skill of reading people can save you from pain, betrayal, and wasted time. Now, I am not trying to make you think everyone is bad. Most people are good. Most people mean well, but some do not. And the problem is, they are very good at hiding it. Learning to read people doesn't mean you become cold. It means you become more aware of your surroundings and protect your inner peace while making true connections. Here are the true reasons why learning to read people is one of the most important skills you can learn. And I want you to really think about each one, because this is not just about learning a trick. This is about changing the way you see the world and protecting yourself in it. 1. See what people really mean. Not everyone who smiles at you is your friend. Not everyone who says nice things has good reasons. They say nice things not because they like you, but because they want something. Imagine someone at work suddenly starts saying lots of nice things to you. You're so talented. You're so smart. I wish I could be like you. It feels good at first, but then, a few days later, they ask you to do their work for them. They are being nice so that you will say yes when they ask for a favor. Here is another example. Think about someone who always says, "I am fine," even when everything about them tells you they are not fine. Their voice is tight. Their eyes look tired. Their body is tense. But they keep saying, "I am fine. Everything is good." Why do they do this? Maybe they don't want to bother you. Maybe they are hiding stress, anger, or sadness. If you can see that, you can make a choice. If they're a good person, you can help them. You can say, I can see something's wrong. Do you want to talk? Or if there's someone who takes their stress out on others, you can keep your distance until they feel better. Not everyone who says they're okay is okay, and not everyone who praises you truly respects you. When you learn to read people, you don't just listen to words, you see what's really happening behind the words. 2. Build real connections. Real relationships are built on honesty and respect. But how can you know who is honest? Learning to read people helps you find the good ones. You can see who is real and who is not. This way, you can spend your time with people who are true and kind. This skill also protects you from bad relationships. Some people use emotions to control you or pull you into games you don't want to play. At work, they use guilt to control you. They say things like, I have done so much for you, or, after everything I helped you with, I thought you would help me with this. See that? They are not asking. They are making you feel bad. They are making you feel like you owe them something. And if you say no, you look like the bad person. That is called guilt tripping. And it works because most of us do not want to look bad. Real help does not ask for anything back. A truly helpful person does not keep a list. If someone is always saying, you owe me because I helped you, they are not helping. They are controlling you. In love, some people control through silence. Have you ever been in a situation where someone just stops talking to you? No reason. No fighting. Just cold silence. You ask, what is wrong? And they say, nothing. But everything about them says something is very wrong. This is called the silent treatment. It is a way to control you through your feelings. They're punishing you without saying it clearly. They want you to feel bad, to follow them, and to apologize for a problem you did not cause. That is not love. In social life, some people make you doubt yourself. This is called gaslighting. They change your words. They say they never said things they really said. You say, you said this. They reply, no, I never said that. You are imagining it. After a while, you start to doubt your own mind. You think, am I crazy? Am I wrong? This is a very dangerous type of control. It makes you lose trust in yourself. 3. See the warning signs. Not all danger is loud. Sometimes the most dangerous people are the quiet ones, the ones who smile while planning bad things, the ones who stay calm while lying. This is about seeing what's coming before it happens. Life doesn't always warn you with words. Sometimes, the biggest problems start with small signals that most people ignore. When someone's behavior changes suddenly, it's not random. It's a sign that something is building inside them. Anger, stress, jealousy. If you can read these signals, you don't just react when things explode. You see them coming, and you prepare. A coworker who is usually friendly suddenly goes quiet around you. They used to joke with you. They used to ask about your day. You had coffee together sometimes. But now, cold silence, short answers. They avoid you in meetings. When you walk into the room, they look away. Maybe they're upset with you about something. Maybe they're jealous because you got promoted, or someone told them something bad about you, and now they believe it. Whatever the reason, the change itself is the warning sign. If you ignore it, the problem will grow. They might complain about you to your boss behind your back. They might turn other people against you. But if you see the sign early, you can act. Talk to them. Keep records of your work. If needed, tell your manager. Seeing the sign early means you stay ahead of the problem. Your partner changes their communication. The morning texts have stopped. They no longer make weekend plans, often saying they are tired. When you ask about their day, they say, "Nothing much." This is emotional distance. They are losing interest. What can you do? Have an honest conversation. Say, "I notice things feel different. What's going on?" Then decide if you want to fight for the relationship or let go. Don't give energy to someone who is already leaving. The warning signs are there. See them early and protect your heart. In a conversation, if someone keeps looking around and won't look you in the eye, they might be about to lie or avoid something important. If someone who usually replies quickly suddenly takes hours or days, something is wrong. These are not accidents. These are signals. Learning to read them helps you act before the problem gets worse. Prepare yourself and avoid being caught off guard. 4. Stay calm and in control. Here's something powerful. When you understand why someone is acting a certain way, you stop taking it personally. Imagine your boss gets angry at you for no clear reason. You might feel hurt, angry, or worried. What did I do wrong? Does he hate me? But if you understand people, you watch. You notice he's been stressed all week. You see that he got angry at others too. You realize maybe he's under pressure. Maybe he's dealing with something personal. Suddenly, his actions don't hurt you anymore. You don't react based on emotions. You stay professional. You keep your peace. This does not mean you accept bad behavior. It means you do not let it control your feelings. You can think before you act. This is a superpower. It stops you from spending hours thinking about conversations, wondering what you did wrong. You don't waste energy being upset over things that have nothing to do with you. 5. Choose the right people. Life is full of choices. Who do you trust? Who do you work with? Who do you date? Who do you call a friend? When you can read people, you make these choices clearly. You're not fooled by charm. You're not moved by empty promises. You make decisions based on truth. You see the real person, not just their nice words. You know who will help you and who will not. This saves you time and helps you feel happy and safe with your friends, your work, and your love. Think about how much pain we could avoid if we learned to see the signs earlier. The bad relationship that could have ended sooner. The business partner who was never honest. The friend who only came around when they needed something. You deserve better. And reading people helps you choose better. So let me ask you, do you want to keep walking through life blind, trusting without thinking? Or do you want to see clearly and trust wisely? Now that you know why this matters, let's talk about how to actually do it. Reading people isn't magic. It's watching. It's paying attention. It's learning to see what most people miss. There are 3 ways to read people: body, voice, and energy. Most people miss these signals because they are too busy thinking about what to say next or too focused on their own thoughts. But when you start really watching, you will be amazed at how many people show without saying a word. You'll hear the truth even when people try to hide it. Let's break it down. 1. Watch the body. Body language never lies. Your body is always speaking. Every movement, every gesture, every small change tells a story. And unlike words, your body cannot lie. It reacts by itself to what you are thinking and feeling. Let me share an idea that will change how you talk to people. Your words are not the most important part of communication. Research by Albert Mehrabian shows that when our words and actions don't match, only 7% of our message comes from the words. The other 93% is in how we sound and our body language. This exact number might not be perfect, but the main idea is true. Your body language and your facial expressions are much more powerful than your words. They show your true feelings, like if you are confident or nervous, much more strongly than anything you say. This is why experts like Alan and Barbara Pease, who study body language, say that the body never lies. Your words can say one thing, but your body or your eye contact will reveal what you truly feel and believe. So how do you read the body? Here are the key things to watch for. When someone crosses their arms, they are usually protecting themselves or their feelings. They might disagree with what you are saying but do not want to say it. Or they might just feel uncomfortable. Either way, their body is making a wall between you and them. For example, imagine you are in a meeting with your boss. You are sharing a new idea. Your boss is listening, but their arms are crossed tight against their chest. They are nodding, but something feels off. That crossed arm position? It is telling you they are not really open to what you are saying. But if someone leans toward you with open arms, they're interested, they're open to connecting. Also, watch the feet because they show you more truth than you thought. If someone's feet are pointed toward you during a conversation, they're listening and want to be there with you. But if their feet are pointed toward the door or away from you, they want to leave. They might be nodding and smiling at you, but their body is already halfway out. This means they are not really focused. They are waiting for a chance to go. Next time you're in a meeting or a conversation, glance down. Where are their feet pointing? That's where their mind wants to go. Touching the neck, face, or hair while talking usually means worry or doubt. People do this to comfort themselves. They do this without thinking when they feel stressed, when they are lying, or when they feel uncomfortable. Small face movements are tiny changes that last less than a second. They happen before someone can control them, and they show true feelings, like a smile that does not reach the eyes, which is not a real smile. A real smile lights up the whole face. Everything moves together. But a fake smile? It's just the mouth moving. The eyes stay cold or empty. If you see this, the person is being polite or being fake. Think about a job interview. You walk in and the interviewer smiles at you. But look at their eyes. Are they warm or are they just doing their job? That difference tells you a lot about how the interview will go. Raised eyebrows while speaking often means doubt. It is a tiny signal that the person does not fully believe what they are saying. They might not be sure themselves or something does not feel right to them. Your coworker says, "Yeah, I will finish that report by tomorrow." But as they say, their eyebrows go up for just a second. That is, their body is saying, "I am not sure I can do that." And guess what? Tomorrow comes, and the report is not done. Now, here is something important to understand. One signal does not mean everything. You need to look at groups of behavior. If someone crosses their arms once, it might just mean they are cold. But if they cross their arms do not look at your eyes, and lean away from you all at the same time. They are uncomfortable or disagree with you. Remember that the situation matters. Someone might look away because they are shy, not because they are lying. Someone might move a lot because they are nervous, not because they are hiding something. Always think about the situation and the person's normal behavior before making conclusions. So the first step to understanding people is simple. Watch, don't judge. Watch how they move. Watch how they stand. Watch how they react. The truth is always there, hiding in plain sight. 2. Listen to the tone. How they say it matters more than what they say. The second way is tone of voice. Most of us listen to respond, not to understand. We hear the words, but we miss the meaning behind them. But wise people, they listen to understand. They hear the tone, the speed, the pauses, the feeling behind the words. Because here's the truth. The same sentence can mean completely different things based on how it's said. Words are easy to control. Voice tone is much harder. Let me show you. Imagine your friend says, "Yes, I can help you." If they say it clearly with a warm and strong voice, they probably want to help. But if they say it slowly with a quiet and low voice and then look down, they probably don't want to help. They feel bad to say no, but their true feeling is no. Or someone says, "That's interesting." If their voice is warm and curious, they mean it. But if their voice sounds bored or mean, they think it's stupid. This is why listening to voice tone is so important. It shows what words are trying to hide. So what should you pay attention to when listening to someone's voice? When people feel confident and calm, they speak slowly. They don't rush. They know their words matter, so they take their time. But when people feel nervous, worried, or are lying, they speak faster. They want to finish quickly. They want to move on before you ask questions. People who talk fast and stop others from speaking are usually either very excited, not confident, or trying to control the conversation. Next, volume changes. Confident people don't need to shout. Their voice is clear and calm. If someone suddenly talks louder, it's usually because they feel in danger, need to defend themselves, or can't control their feelings. On the other side, if someone's voice gets quieter and quieter, they might be losing confidence, feeling bad, or hiding something. And pay close attention to pauses. Do they stop before answering? That might mean they're thinking of what to say instead of speaking the truth. Do they pause in the middle of a sentence? They might be unsure, or they might have almost said something they didn't mean to. Silence is not empty. Silence speaks. Last, the pitch of the voice. Pitch means how high or low the voice sounds. When someone's voice goes higher at the end of a sentence, especially when they're saying something as fact, it often means they're not sure. For example, "I am okay." The voice goes down at the end. This sounds confident. This sounds true. "I am okay?" The voice goes up at the end, like a question. It seems like a fact, but it is really a hidden question. The person is not okay. They're asking you to believe them. Think about the last time someone told you, "I'm fine." Did you really believe them? Or did something in their voice make you wonder? Most of the time, people say they're fine when they're not. And if you only listen to the words, you'll miss it. But if you listen to the voice, you'll hear what they're really saying. As people say, the truth often hides between the lines. So don't just hear words. Listen to how those words sound. That's where the real message is. 3. Feel their energy, the language you can't see. Now we're going deeper, beyond body language, beyond voice. We're talking about energy. This one is harder to explain, but you've definitely felt it before. Have you ever walked into a room and immediately felt heavy, even though nothing was said? Or met someone for the first time and immediately felt calm and safe, like you could trust them? That's energy, that's vibe, and this feeling is real, it's not magic. You might call it a gut feeling. But what it really is your brain reading thousands of tiny signs that you can't see with your eyes. Tiny face changes, body language, voice, and even how they breathe or move. Your brain picks up on all of it, and it tells you, this person is safe, or something is wrong. The problem? Most people ignore it. They tell themselves, I'm thinking too much. So they ignore the warning, and later they feel bad about it. For example, some people have an energy that confuses you. They say nice things, but something feels wrong. They smile, but you don't feel safe. This is the energy of someone trying to use you. They're playing a role. And your gut knows it, even if your mind can't explain why. Your job is to start trusting that feeling, not blindly, but as a signal to pay closer attention. When something feels off, it usually is. And have you ever noticed that the way people feel can change how you feel? If you spend time with someone who is always complaining, you start feeling tired and negative. If you spend time with someone who is grateful and positive, you start feeling lighter and more hopeful. This is why Napoleon Hill said, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." What does this mean for reading people? It means the people you spend time with shape your energy, your beliefs, and in the end, your life. You become more careful about who you let into your space. Let me give you an example. There is a meeting at work. One person walks in, and the room feels heavier. Everyone gets a little quieter, a little more tense. Another person walks in, and suddenly people relax, laugh, open up. That is energy, and it affects everything. Or think about a friend who always makes you feel guilty for not doing enough, even when you are doing your best. Compare that to a friend who makes you feel seen, valued, and supported just by being around them. That difference, that is energy too. What I want you to understand is that energy doesn't lie. It's the language you can't see. And when you learn to feel it, you understand people on a level that words can never reach. Your energy is special. Protect it. Be around people who add to it, not take from it. So next time you're with someone, close your eyes for a second after the conversation. Ask yourself, how do I feel right now? Do you feel inspired or tired, safe or nervous? Do you feel respected or used? That feeling is your answer. That's their energy speaking to you. And once you start noticing it, you'll never ignore it again. These three skills, watching the body, listening to the voice, and feeling the energy, are the base of reading people, like the roots of a tree. Master them, and you will see the world in a completely different way. You will stop being confused by people's words and start understanding their truth. Okay, so you can watch body language, you can listen to voice tone, you can feel energy. But here is the big question. Why do people act the way they do in the first place? This is where it gets really interesting. Because when you understand the why behind someone's actions, everything makes sense. You stop being confused. You stop being hurt. You start seeing people clearly. Every behavior, every reaction, every choice someone makes comes from one of these three places. Fear, the silent driver of most behavior. Most people are driven by fear more than they realize. Fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of being hurt, fear of being alone, fear of not being enough. And fear makes people do strange things. For example, someone who brags all the time, they're afraid no one will respect them if they don't prove they're good. They were probably ignored or looked down on in the past, so now they try too hard to be seen. Someone who's always quiet in a group, they might fear judgment or embarrassment. They'd rather stay silent than risk saying something wrong. Someone who gets defensive quickly, they're afraid of being attacked or misunderstood. Their defensiveness is a shield. When you see behavior through fear, you realize it's not about you. It's about them. It's about the pain they carry, the fights they're having inside. This doesn't mean you let them hurt you, but it means you understand, and understanding gives you power. Desire, the force that drives your goals and your relationships. The second reason people act is desire. What do people want? What are they looking for? Everyone wants something: love, respect, safety power, approval, to belong. And people's actions are usually just their way of trying to get what they desire. The person who always agrees with the boss, they want approval and safety. The person who shares too much on social media, they want attention. Someone who works 80 hours a week, they might desire success, or they might be running from something inside. Someone who stays in a toxic relationship, they desire love and fear being alone more than they fear the pain. Having desires is not bad. It's human. We all have desires. But when it controls you, when it makes you lose your values, it becomes dangerous. The key is to recognize them, both in yourself and in others. Because when you see what someone truly wants, you see where they're weak. If you're a good person, you'll respect that weakness. But if you're dealing with someone trying to use you, you'll see when they're trying to use yours. Habit, the things you do without thinking. Most people don't even know why they act the way they do. They just react. Because that's what they've always done. They learned it from their family, their culture, their past experiences. And now it's automatic. The person who gets angry when stressed, that's a habit. Maybe they learned it from their parents. Maybe that's how they survived childhood. Someone who avoids all fights, maybe they were punished for speaking up as a child. The person who never says sorry, that's a habit. Maybe saying sorry was always used against them. Habits are powerful and they are hard to break. And most people are trapped by their own habits without knowing it. But the beautiful part is that once you see the pattern, you can break it. And when you see the pattern in others, you can respond with wisdom instead of feeling. So let me tie this together with a quote from Napoleon Hill. Every man is a puzzle of his fears and dreams. That's exactly right. People are puzzles. And when you take the time to understand the pieces, all the fears, the desires, the habits, you start to see the full picture. And your job is not to fix people, it is to understand them. And when you do, you make better decisions about who to trust, who to help, and who to keep at a distance. All right, you now know how to read people. You know how to watch their body, listen to their voice, feel their energy. You understand what makes people act the way they do. But let me be very clear. How can you use this knowledge without becoming a bad person yourself? How to use it for good and not harm? Let me give you 4 rules to guide you. Rule number 1, don't use it to control, use it to understand. Understanding people doesn't mean you get to trick them or control their thoughts. The wrong way to think is, great, now I can get anything I want. Using this skill like a weapon, playing with fears and hurting others to win, this is wrong. Don't be that person. Instead, use this skill to understand, to see why people act the way they do, to connect with people, to feel what they feel, and to talk in a better way. When someone is rude to you, you pause and think, they're probably going through something. That doesn't mean you let them be rude to you. It just means you don't take it personally. You keep your peace. You respond calmly. Understanding people gives you emotional freedom. You stop being controlled by their moods. You stop taking in their bad feelings. Use this power to free yourself, not to control others. Rule number 2, stay watchful, not worried. Yes, it is important to read people. Yes, it is smart to watch for warning signs. But there's a thin line between being aware and being afraid of everyone. A common mistake is to start seeing enemies everywhere. You might think too much about every word. You might stop trusting anyone and push everyone away. Your goal is to stay aware, not to live in fear every day. Watch without judging. Don't think the worst right away. Just notice. Collect information. If someone shows you who they are, believe them. But give people a chance first. Trust your gut, but check. If something feels wrong, don't ignore it. But also, don't act on feeling alone. Watch, wait, see if the pattern continues. You can be careful without being closed off. You can be wise without being cold. The key is this: be careful, but don't distrust everyone. There are good people out there, people who will add to your life, not take from it, people who will be honest, loyal, and kind. Don't let fear stop you from making good connections. Stay watchful, stay wise, but don't let fear of everyone steal your ability to trust. Rule number 3, protect your energy. Not everyone deserves to be in your life. Let me say that again. Not everyone deserves to be in your life. Your time is important. Your energy is limited. Your peace is special. And you will meet people who, without meaning to, will take all of that if you let them. And it's okay to walk away. Pay attention to how you feel after talking to someone. Do you feel tired and heavy? Or do you feel light and happy? The ones who make you feel tired often complain, create drama, and always take without giving back. The ones who make you feel light are supportive. They listen, they encourage you, they add value to your life just by being in it. When you learn to read people, you see these patterns quickly, and once you see it, you have a choice. Keep giving your energy to people who use it all up, or start protecting it by leaving. Not everyone who asks for help deserves your time, and sometimes the smartest thing you can do is step back and protect your peace. Rule number 4. Don't let your caring become a weakness. Caring is a beautiful thing. It lets you feel what others feel, to see the world through their eyes, to connect deeply. But caring without being smart will turn you into a target. Your kindness can be used against you. Someone might tell you sad stories to make you feel sad. They might act like the victim and say that everything is not their fault. They might cry to get what they want. If you are not careful, you will always say yes. You will feel used. The thing is, you can understand why a person is like that, but still say no. Let your caring help you decide. Don't let it make you do things you don't want to do. You can feel bad for a snake. You can understand that it bites because that's what snakes do. But that doesn't mean you let it into your home. Your caring is a strength. But if you have no limits, people will see it as a weakness. Use your caring to understand people, but also to know when to stop. This is how you stay a kind person, but not a foolish person. This is true wisdom. Let me leave you with this final thought. Smart people know what to say. Wise people know when to listen. But truly aware people know what to watch for and when to walk away. Not every story deserves a place in your life. Not every connection is meant to last. And that's okay. Because when you learn to read people, you stop getting hurt by those who were never going to value you. You stop giving your energy to people who only take. Instead, you spend time on the right people, the ones who are real, the ones who add to your life instead of taking from it. So the next time someone talks to you, don't just listen to their words. Listen to what they're not saying. Watch how they move. Feel their energy. You are not responsible for everyone's feelings, but you are responsible for protecting your own. Read people like a book, not to judge the story, but to understand the writer, and to remember which stories deserve a place in your life.